And perhaps the biggest trade of the day, Pro Bowl tight end and former first-round pick TJ Hockenson was traded from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings. And this is in light of the news that Irv Smith Jr. suffered a sprained ankle. He's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks and placed on the IR. The move to the injured reserve already happened for Smith, who was at a 13.7% target share, a 21.3% target rate, both 19th among tight ends. Irv Smith did get 6 red zone targets before being placed on IR, 2 total touchdowns. That's 11th among tight ends. But it was a disappointing game this past week against the Arizona Cardinals, who normally give up 17 fantasy points per game to the tight end position. Instead, he gets vultured by Johnny Munt and suffers a sprained ankle. So add insult to injury to Irv Smith. Now his long-term status is in doubt because TJ Hockenson, former 8th overall pick in 2019 out of Iowa, and Hawkinson's target share, 17.8%, 10th among tight ends, and his 21.1% target rate, 20th among tight ends, playing near the top of the league in snaps and routes run. Air yards, he's 8th among tight ends in air yards, 8th in red zone targets, 5th in total touchdowns, 4th in yards after catch. And that's what the Minnesota Vikings are really needing. Justin Jefferson is running these shorter routes because the underneath routes are just not there this year. Hopefully the existence of TJ Hockenson can open up some deeper routes for Justin Jefferson. If you remember, Jefferson last year was number 1 in deep targets and had some of the most air yards in the league. So the number 5 receiving tight end and number 4 yak tight end on the season joins the Minnesota Vikings, who are very much in the playoff hunt. They're leading the division. And this is what I thought would happen. The Vikings were going to do well. The Packers were going to struggle a little bit. And I didn't think the Lions were going to be this type of sell. But it's very clear that they didn't want to make an extension to TJ Hockenson, who they didn't view as, a core member moving forward. They didn't want to have to pay all that money. They want to make this into a dynasty. And frankly, Hockenson was not part of that first-round pick pedigree. The GM, Brad... the GM for Brad Holmes. There we go. Brad Holmes, the GM for the Lions, did not draft TJ Hockenson, so he wasn't part of this regime, and the Lions owe him nothing moving forward. So that's the nice thing. And essentially it's a move up in the draft. So the compensation is a 2nd and 3rd round pick for fourth round picks and possible escalators. So I think this is a neutral move for TJ Hockenson from a fantasy perspective. It's not going to really get higher because of the existence of Thielen and Justin Jefferson, but TJ Hockenson should be still in your tight end 1 conversation moving forward.